Oh, hey, you guys. Guess what happened? Yes, oh, you won't believe it. Trump had to call in the cavalry. He called in the cavalry. Guess who showed up at the White House? He walked up to her, shook her hand, rubbed her on the shoulder, and he escorted her back to his office. Condoleezza Rice. Oh my God, Miss Condoleezza, the expert on Russia and the Middle East. She was Bush's, y'all remember back in I think 2009, she was Bush's national security advisor. She know her shit. So I guess this war that Trump has started is not going the way he expected it to go. Guess who he called in? Yeah, he had to call in the GOAT. He called in Condoleezza to help him out. I know he's getting advice. I know he's trying to figure out how to fix this shit, how to get it right, what to do, because he don't have nobody, not one person that can get this right. None of the people that work for him that are in his, they not experts in none of this shit. They barely got their degrees. Don't know shit about shit. But he gave her a beautiful escort into his office. Let's see what she has to say, or what she's gonna do, or how much she needs to dig him out of this shit. But I was so glad to see her, and she looked good. I hate that she got to be here, because she's supposed to be chilling on the beach somewhere, enjoying her life, not doing this bullshit. But if anybody can do it, if anybody can get some intel, if anybody can advise to be on some intel, it would be her.
I think the only way we're going to do better is if he gets out and somebody else gets in.
I just want to say I'm sorry. I voted for him and I thought he was going to help folks like me. Now they done cut off my food stamps, my Medicaid, everything. I don't know how I'm going to eat or pay for my medicine. I made a mistake.
I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Did Trump say the black jobs? They taking the black, who is they? They. Can I get an application? I need to get hired on with the black jobs. How much they paying for the black jobs? I never heard of them. Nobody, y'all black people ain't told nobody about the black jobs. Man, God, what's wrong with y'all, black people? There are black jobs out there that they taking. The black jobs. Let me know. Hello, anybody know where the black jobs are? Hello, the black jobs.
That the illegal immigrants or the immigrants were doing in the fields. I can tell you, Mr. President, that is not fucking happening. We are not going back in the field. You could get that out your mind. You and all your Republican buddies, it's not happening. So you need to come up with a better solution for your shortage of staff. You can't pay us enough. We've been there. We've done that. Not happening. You need to figure out how to work out a path to citizenship for all these hard-working immigrants that do want to work in this country. Because there are lots of people that comes into this country that honestly want to work. Not all immigrants that's here, whether they're here legal or illegally, want to commit crime or do commit crime. Statistically proven, you have more homegrown assault on this country than anything else. Mass shooting for one. You understand? So you need to figure out something. But black people, we're not the solution to that. We're not going back. And I believe if for some reason that was ever attempted, you're going to have a fight on your hands. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man.
Literally, bro, I didn't even think he was gonna be this bad, I didn't think he was gonna just deport innocent people, dude. Literally, he said he was only gonna go after gang members and, dangerous criminals. How did my parents get here? They crossed the border. What's a tariff? A tariff is kind of like a tax, but we don't pay for that. Don't worry, China's gonna pay for that, and Mexico, not me though, not me. Yes, I did see that the stock market was crashing, dude, but you have to understand, dude, literally, it gets worse before it gets better, I promise. It gets worse before it gets better. Yeah, I graduated and I wanted to work for the government, dude, but I don't know, like they took away my offer because Trump's like Doge cuts and stuff and Elon Musk, but it's okay. Maybe I'm not meant to work in the government, maybe I'll be,
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about a pattern so predictable that you could set a watch to it. When the political waters get hot, when articles of impeachment start floating in the air, and when foreign policy start going completely off the rails, what is the instant play? It's just to call on black people, the very people you spent months and years sidelining. Suddenly, the narratives now have shifted from black jobs and DEI hires to an urgent middle of the night request, help me, black Americans. Look at what is unfolding across the comment section right now. People are watching Donald Trump reach out toward high profile black figures, even leaning on foreign policy veterans like Condoleezza Rice, while rumors of impeachment pressures mount on him. And the collective reaction is a mix of disbelief, satire, and total exhaustion. You've got commentators going straight for the truth. When all else fails, call on Melanin. Others are bringing up pre-policy receipts. How can you fire black generals over the AI concern and then expect the black community to set up as your ultimate rescue squad? And then there is this economic bottom line from people who are just tired of empty political theater. Sign that reparation check first. Until then, we can't do nothing for you. To me, this isn't just a political misstep, it's a masterclass in audacity. We are witnessing a political strategy backed into a corner, attempting to cash a check with black voters that was never deposited in the first place. Like always, stay with me to the end. Let's unfold different creators' perspective on this. Share your points in the comments and subscribe to the channel if you are seeing this video for the first time. Let's get into it. You're welcome.
Two fronts, being in the Afghan war and the Iraq war, especially recently with Trump's statements towards Cuba. The Trump administration obviously doesn't know what they're doing and they don't have a long-term strategy for Iran. It also means that as Americans, we could probably prepare to go into Iran since they are calling in literally the only person that could give them guidance on a long-term war. Are you scared yet? I am.
Because ultimately she's there like Omarosa would be there. What exactly is she being brought in to, provide advisement on? It'll be interesting to see how other political commentators comment on her inclusion in the conversations right now. I think it'll also be interesting to hear her perspective, how she viewed either her experience or just, her thoughts, because I remember how problematic she was and really just continues to be, So I have been looking at kind of diverse perspectives, specifically from Black women on Condoleezza Rice at this point, because I think it's pretty interesting to see how Black women are, kind of cheering her inclusion on. Like it seems like in the comment section and people who are posting videos, that they're excited that she's there. They're saying things like, Black women to the rescue. Black women always has to come in and save the day. Condoleezza Rice has so many accomplishments, and things like that. But I'm like, what is it that y'all think that she is going to do as it relates to saving something? Like, what is the context that you're putting out there about what it is that she, like what her role is? And I just hope that we are able to, as Black women, have more of a critical lens around Black women in politics specifically, and also really deconstructing what inclusion and representation, what that means, and like when and how that's activated.
Hey, Condi. Yeah, Condoleezza. Why are you going to the White House? What are you doing? Is it a fundraiser? Are you there to smell his farts? What's the deal, girl? Why are you there? The architect of the Iraq war. What's going on, girl? You going scorched earth? Well, we're about to. We are so about to. $2 billion worth of military assets lost in 3 or 4 days. That's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. No, we're not prepared for this because your ego got in the way. Because poor planning is how you plan. You don't actually look at all options.
So Trump was in the Oval Office, discussing how he's headed to Chicago next to deploy the military to help fight crimes. Now, hearing him say that African American women are screaming for him to come fight crime in Chicago, I don't understand why this man just lies, because 92% of black women voted for Kamala. And why would a black woman would be screaming for him to help do anything? Does he not know that 92% of black women voted for Kamala? Y'all need to let y'all president know, because obviously he doesn't know.
Policies. Here it is.
If they let in hundreds or thousands of people who already have criminal records, if deporting them creates a mass deportation, I'm all for it.
But what if rounded up in all of that are people who work on a farm, they're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do? Does that worry you?
That wouldn't be fair. Of course, they need to make sure that they don't throw away, they don't kick out, they don't deport people that are family oriented.
Oh, okay. This is what the family told MSNBC.
Mario and Mireya both crossed the border illegally as teenagers, but became citizens under President Ronald Reagan's amnesty. They see themselves as different from migrants crossing the border today. In what way do you think they're different?
The people that are coming here are the criminals. The ones that did something bad in their country, they're running away from their law.
Despite having close family members who are undocumented,
Migrant invasion.
they don't believe they'll end up in Trump's crosshairs. When you hear Trump promise mass deportations, do you worry about them?
Yes and no. Because the ones that I know, they're doing good.
Is a conservative. She's pro-life. She voted for Trump. But she's regretting her decision because now she's pregnant with her third child. She's older. And there might be some complications where the child might not make it. And her doctor's saying, hey, you may need to go out of state to get a late-term abortion, right? So she's going through a panic. And she calls her husband to tell her what the doctor says. And her husband said, no, that's just a liberal doctor. Don't worry about it. First off, to that woman who's in this situation, I'm sorry. I hope the worst case scenario does not happen. I hope you have a healthy baby with no complications. I would never want anything to happen to you and your child. Never. I don't understand this need to listen to your husband over a medical professional. I don't get it. That's why a lot of us don't mess around with religion. That's why a lot of us don't play around with conservative men. Because I would want a husband, because everybody's like liberal husbands are, my liberal husband would immediately go, what state, how much money we need to gather, let's find a doctor, here's a directory. That is the type of partner you want. The problem with conservative men is that they think they know everything and they think they own their wives, even at the detriment of their wives. I don't understand, ma'am, how you could listen to a man that's not a doctor and politicians about your health care versus your doctor. And we have been telling y'all for so long, this narrative that they are pushing about late-term abortions, wrong. It's wrong. It's only if there's something wrong with the baby. It's not just for the fun of it. Because if that were the case, then that would just be murder. Trump, Greg Abbott, your husband, they are not going to help you if things ever really took a turning point. So please, think of yourself, think of your child, protect yourself, protect your child, and you make arrangements despite them.
I regret voting for Trump. You guys told me I would, and here we are, just barely over a month after he was sworn in, and I have so many reasons, so many disappointments, and I've lost so many rights as a woman already. So I guess I'll just start listing the reasons why. So many rights gone as a woman. Starting with I mean, did I lose rights? I thought I did. See, I was told so many times by the left that I lost all of my rights because I'm a woman, so I mean, I thought for sure I did, but now that I'm trying to come up with a list, it's just not coming to the tip of my tongue here. I don't know. Maybe we'll try again after I do some research.
I regret voting for Donald Trump. No, I'm just messing with y'all. I don't actually regret my vote. I do still think that he was a better option than Kamala Harris. But with that being said, I do just want to say that I do believe that he was going to be voted into office regardless of whether I voted for him or not. The more that I see things unfold, and yes, I was gone for 3 months, but I was still, paying attention to the world and following things that were happening. I do genuinely believe that he was going to be enacted into office in order for certain biblical prophecies to be fulfilled. No, I do not believe that he is the Antichrist, but I do believe that him being in power and certain events happening currently in the world, or that have happened in the last 3 or so months, or just ever since he has been into the presidential office, I do believe that those are biblical prophecies that are being fulfilled in front of our eyes, and that we need to be watching out for, and that we need to be very aware, and that we need to be very discerning. Like I said, I do not regret my vote for him because there are things that he's doing and that his cabinet is doing that I do like and that I am in support of, but there's a lot of things that I look at and I'm like, you don't got to be doing all this. I don't think that the Trump that we voted for is the same Trump now, or maybe not necessarily that. Let me rephrase. I do think that there was some deception, and I will be first to admit that some Christians, especially as me, we did fall for the deception. Again, he did fulfill his promise, or he did keep his promises when it comes to illegal immigration, like all the things that he was trying to do. But I am concerned with some of the things that he's currently doing. And I've always been very open in the fact that I don't like him. I don't like his personality. I don't like how he talks to people and about people. But I was always, like I always have said, I did and I do still think that he was a better option than Kamala Harris. That does not make me regret my vote, but it does throughout my 3 months being off TikTok and kind of leaving that echo chamber. I have realized the left wing, the right wing, they're all a part of the same bird. It's just controlled by the same people. Neither the liberals are better nor the conservatives are better. So at this point, like, enough with the labels. I am not a conservative. I'm a follower of Christ. Yes, my values and my opinions and morals and beliefs do more closely align with the conservative values. However, I have decided to no longer apply this label to me that I'm a Christian conservative. I am just a follower of Christ. I'm a daughter of the Most High King, because as Christians, the only thing that we can do is pray. Prayer is powerful. The only thing that we can do is pray for the people in power, that they will make the right choices and lead us. But at the same time, I have realized that our world is just going downhill. All these biblical prophecies are unfolding right in front of our eyes, and some of y'all are blind to see it, or just don't have the discernment to see it, or you don't want to admit that that is what we're seeing, which I don't necessarily blame you for. It takes a certain spirit of discernment to see these things that are happening in the world and to say, yes, God warned us about this and we need to be watchful about them. There's a few things that come to mind. I'm not going to go super in depth about all of them, but for example, the peace treaty being signed in the Middle East, Trump receiving an award and being called the Prince of Peace. Again, there's things that I like that he was doing, like with immigration and stuff, but there are certain limits that are being crossed. And again, I do not regret my vote, but I am being more aware of the fact that regardless of who I voted for, this was going to unfold. The Bible warned us about this, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but there are things happening right now, and there are going to be things happening in the near and distant future that are specifically outlined in the Bible, and then we're not to be scared of them, but we are to continue to do what we're supposed to do, to preach, to read. I'm sorry, to spread the gospel, to reach other people, to show them Christ's love and his sacrifice for us, because that is how we reach. That is why I'm no longer interested in doing these lives and apologetics, because I realize and I understand now that people don't come into my lives because they're genuinely interested in learning a different perspective. People come for the debate. Let me get a gotcha moment. Let me clip this because people will think that I'm smart or whatever. People don't always have a genuine desire.
Welcome back. Let's break down the sheer irony of this dynamic, because the comments are exposing every single layer of this hypocrisy. Firstly, the military and foreign policy contradiction. Take a look at military readiness and defense leadership. Veterans in the comment section are pointing out career strike group extended indefinitely, supply chains stranded, and leadership gaps across the board. Yet, after purging black military leadership and calling diversity initiative a threat, the executive apparatus suddenly wants expert counsel from black figures like Condoleezza Rice to clean up complex international messes. As one commenter put it perfectly, is he sure he wants DEI giving him advice on how to execute a war? You cannot poach talent to appease a base on Monday and then ask the same talent to save your administration on Tuesday. Secondly, the Condi vs Kamala chess match. There is this political strategy. People are calling out the sudden pivot to Condoleezza Rice as a calculated attempt to counter black political power. It's a game for them. One user wrote pointing out how black figures are treated like political placeholders rather than the actual leaders with permanent seats at the table, reaching out to conservative black icons to share them against mounting political pressure isn't strategic genius, it's a transparent damage control. Now the question, what have you done for us lately, arise. The sentiment among everyday black voters in those comments isn't just anger, it's pragmatism. The days of offering unearned political loyalty in exchange for vague campaign promises are over. From demands for tangible policy like reparation to call out on dismissive rhetoric like black jobs, the message is uniform. The bill is due. You don't get to mock a demographic, fire their leaders, ignore their economic demands, and then ask them to be your political shed when impeachment starts getting loud. Also, when you think about the spiritual and cultural rejection, even the moral framing is crumbling. Commenters citing faith and ethics are pointing out the core contradiction. You cannot preach unity or ask for grace while building a platform on division. Beware of false prophets. One comment read, calling out those who try to weaponize religious language only when they need a favor. Whether this administration faces full-blown impeachment or just a massive reality check, one thing is abundantly clear from these reactions. Black Americans is not a 911 emergency service for struggling politicians. At the end of the day, politics is a game of leverage, but people aren't chess pieces you can just pull out when you are backed into a corner. Whether this is a true political panic or just another news cycle, one thing is clear. The playbook of taking black voters for granted has officially expired. Now, I want to hear from you. Is this a strategic miscalculation, or is it just business as usual in Washington? Drop your thoughts, reactions, and wild takes in the comment section below. Let's get a real discussion going on for this. If you found this breakdown insightful, do not forget to hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel with notification turned on so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. I will catch you in the next video. For now, peace.